You realize that you can just be your full self. You don't have to walk on eggshells. And I just think that's priceless. Welcome back to the Sisterhood Tea Party podcast. If you are new here, this is where we spill the tea on everything from relationships and reinvention to healing, hot takes, and holding boundaries like grown women. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Stephanie. We started this show because we believe women deserve real conversations, not surface level sound bites. Think of us as your internet sisters who will always tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable.
And today we're revisiting one of the most requested topics we've ever done, friendship breakups. But this time, we're going to go deeper.
This isn't about petty drama. This is about the grief, the guilt, the quiet fades, the messy exits, and the people who meant a lot to you until they didn't.
Breaking down what they don't tell you online, that letting go of a friendship isn't always toxic or dramatic. Sometimes it's healing. And sometimes people confuse it for cancel culture or conflict avoidance, but it's usually bigger than that.
If you've ever outgrown a friendship and felt like the bad guy for choosing peace, this episode's for you. Let's get into it. So before we dive in, though, let's talk about what's top of mind this week. Jess, what's going on with you?
Okay, so top of mind for me, I am truly like in this weird stage in life where I'm like obsessing over the idea that everything has a purpose. So I went back to Kansas last weekend and I stayed with my parents there, and like I'm just like driving, right? Like and my idea of Kansas, right? Not a positive one, okay? Just to like give everyone a little bit of backstory here. I moved to Kansas when I was 15 years old, a sophomore in high school, to a tiny little town coming from Southern California, okay? And I'm talking a town with 2 stoplights. You know, picture me walking down the hall first day of class and people are whispering, "Oh my God, that's the new girl." Just like not good. And here I am, this outspoken California girl who everyone's like, put in your lane, you know, I was not well liked. So all my memories of this like the last couple of years of high school are not great, and the small town are not great, right? But you know, I've grown, I've done a lot of healing, and I'm driving back, and tell me why. I'm like looking and I'm like, wow, everything is so green. All the wheat fields are green and like kind of pretty. And then like my brain starts going like crazy. And I swear to God, I wrote an entire book in my brain on that drive. On that drive, I wrote an entire book in my brain. Like something about different memories in high school or experiences or the environment just inspired me in such a weird way. And I'm like, oh my God, what if that's why I went through all that and I had to live in this tiny ass town that was terrible, was so that I could write something later that ends up being beautiful and fun and exciting. And so as soon as I started writing this book down on paper, I was in the car telling Siri, scene 1, da-da-da-da-da, like, so I didn't forget everything that was in my brain. And who knows how long it'll take me to write it, but it just had me obsessing in this idea of like everything has a purpose. And I know we talked about this on a past episode before about turning pain into purpose, but just, I don't know, all these different experiences that we have in life, somewhere down the road, maybe it becomes a lesson or it becomes a creative outlet or something. Who knows? Maybe the book never goes anywhere, but I get to write it and it's cool. And so I'm embracing all of that right now. That's where I'm at.
I love that. You know, like we talked about, you know, turning pain into purpose. You know, everything happens for a reason, whether it's like good, bad, the ugly. So going through that experience and like having that moment of clarity of like, wait a second, is this why all of this happens? Like, I love that. And honestly, I'd read it. You know, I relate. I get it. Living also in a small town.
Yeah.
Having the experiences, you know, as a woman of color living in a predominantly white town. And it's like, I went through all of that and I can now talk about it and talk about my experience. It's kind of the same, you know, in that regard of like, you're coming out as like an outsider, right? And you can talk about your experiences and how it shaped you to who you are today. And we've grown so much and we've learned so much from it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, you should write a book.
You think so?
I think you should.
Read my book?
I would. Absolutely, I would.
I don't even know the first thing about writing a book. Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT to help me write my book.
You're like,
in a sense, right?
Yeah. I literally ask. So my struggle with this is like, I'm wanting to write this book in the first person instead of the third person, but I keep slipping into the third person. And so I asked GPT about this. I was like, I'm struggling. I'm trying to write this as first person. It's first, is that right? And it did say like YA books are a lot in first person. And then I was like, and like, what can I do to like help me stop slipping in the third? And it gave me like some exercises that I can do before I start writing to like help me get into the group. And I was like, thanks, chat. Really appreciate that.
Okay, I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Who knows? Maybe one day I'll be inspired and write a book, but for now, not right now. There's still a lot of my story to be told.
Yeah, girl. What's top of mind for you?
So, top of mind first, peep the hair, peep the new hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Obsessed. We should have led with that. We should have led with that.
That's true. Be like, hey, everybody. It's so funny though, because my hair changes on these episodes every 2 weeks. Like, y'all see the clips, y'all see what we release. And it's like her hair changes all the time. And I'm like, that's exactly right. The next time you see me, it will be different. By the time this episode comes out, I will have a new hairstyle. Like, that's just how it is. So, anyway, got new hair done. It's pre Beyonce hair. I'm excited about it. But anyway, so outside of that, what's top of mind for me is that I will be visiting my mom for her birthday this week. So, I'm very excited to celebrate her. We haven't decided what we're doing quite yet. We have a couple options. We may do the winery trip like we did for my brother's birthday a couple months back. We absolutely love that. It was a vibe. We were living our best life, but it may be just really freaking hot. So I don't know. We'll see. We may just do something
Mm.
as chill as like we grill and we just like chill at the house and just have a good time. My mom is like down for whatever. So we'll have a good plan
Cute.
the next like couple days. So
That's so fun. I hope it's not
mhm.
as windy as it was last weekend. It was
Oh, I
insane.
know. Yeah, I know. We'll see. We'll see. I would anticipate it's just going to be hot, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it is, but that's summer for you. So,
So fun. Happy birthday. Shout out
mhm.
to your mom. Early
Yeah.
birthday. Very excited. I love that you're going back for that. That'll be fun.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, well, with that, let's move on to our main segment for today's episode. First, I just think it's important to acknowledge that friendship breakups are underrated in the emotional devastation department.
Facts. There are no rules, no rituals, no closure playlists. You're just out here crying in the shower over someone who's still posting selfies like nothing happened.
Yep. So let's start with when a friendship breakup might actually be needed because it's not always obvious.
It could be something big, like betrayal or toxicity, but honestly, sometimes it's way more subtle.
Yep. And then, in my opinion, like harder to identify even. Like when you start
hmm
feeling maybe drained after every hangout, or when you feel like you're performing instead of being yourself, which I don't know about you, but like for me, that is when I feel drained, when I'm like, it's almost like when you're like working all day, and you're like,
Yeah.
yes, we should circle back on that in your meetings. And then you get out and you're just like, oh, that was not me. That's if you feel like that in friendships.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I feel like I have examples for every single one of these. Like I've had the experience of it's awful. But yeah, I've had friends where it's just all they do, like when they want to hang out, is just like complain about stuff. And I'm just like, I get it. Life is hard. Like we've all been through some stuff, but like, come on. Like at this point, I need you to go talk to someone. Like I can only be here for you for so much, but this is becoming like trauma dumping every single time. And that's a lot, and I just it's a lot. But outside of that too, there are other aspects too. So like when you realize you're holding on to the friendship because of history, right? So you're more nostalgic for the memories than the person they are now.
Yes, I think that's the hardest one, honestly,
hmm
in my opinion. Like, I feel like when I was younger, it was more of the other two. It was like, oh, the person I feel drained around, I don't want to be there, or oh, the big blow up. I think I talked about it in the last time we talked about this topic, where I say like, oh, I didn't have it in
Yeah.
myself to go with grace, like just like done, blow
Whoops.
up. And then the harder ones, like you said, I think are the ones where it's like, oh, we're just holding on because history, not with because of who we are now. And like if you wouldn't be friends with them today as the person you are now, I think that's a sign. And also on that, it doesn't necessarily mean that like they're a bad person and that's why you wouldn't be friends with them, but just like they're not your vibe, right? Like you're not like you don't have things in common now and like you're at different life stages and like those kinds of things.
Absolutely. It is completely okay. And I think we've talked about this too, to outgrow people and realize that some people are just around for a season or just a period of time, and that's okay. And it's also just about growth too. You're evolving and they're not, or vice versa. And instead of celebrating each other, there's resentment when that happens. So it's just you have to be aware of your friendships. I feel like you have to do kind of a friendship audit at times and just reassess like where you are, where you stand with your friendships, and be like, okay, am I in a place where I can see this friendship continuing to evolve and we're supporting each other, we're here for each other? Or am I looking at this friendship and I'm like, like this is how things have been going lately and it's like not evolving, or, this has happened lately and it's just things are switching up. So I think taking that audit of your friendship from time to time, I think is important.
Especially as adults, because we have to like curate our friendships, right? Like
We
I've,
do.
I've been seeing some TikToks about this recently about like you can't just like not reach out and not communicate and not talk. It's not like we're in a place where you're going to run into them every day like when you were like kids, And so I actually saw a TikTok maybe a year ago where somebody like had like a very clear system where they're like, okay, these are like my really close, like daily check-in kind of people. And these are like my once every couple weeks check-in people. And these are like, I still want to maintain these relationships, but they're not like my best friends. So it's like once every month or two or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. And they would like audit regularly, like where their friends kind of were. I was fascinated.
That's really interesting. That is a system too. I don't
Yeah.
have it down like that, but I mean, if I feel like if it needs to be done, it needs to be done.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think especially when that's happening and you're like potentially outgrowing and like some of these people are like kind of maybe if you have a system that formal, like falling down your list, like it's important to remember if that resentment starts to develop that like you shouldn't have to shrink or water yourself down to stay in a friendship. And, like if you're evolving or changing or they're evolving and changing, you shouldn't have to change yourself to fit back into that friendship.
I agree because it will never work out. Like you can't force something, right? And that goes for friendships, relationships, anything. You just can't force it. You know that you're outgrowing that person. It's time to reassess and go from there. So now let's break down the different types of friendship breakups because not all breakups are created equal.
Yep, yep. We've alluded to this a little bit, but there's like the big blow up, the one where it's yelling, crying, dramatic text messages or two. Like, ugh, I think we've all been there. The thing I will say about that one is, like, at least it's,
Right.
it sucks, but
100%. Yeah, I agree. It's like, okay, there's no like fluff, there's no hiding it. It's like everything's out in the open. You've both like been holding on to all of this resentment, essentially, holding on to all of this like stuff, and it's coming out, and it's like, all right, it's done, and that's it. There isn't any
Yep,
like, there's no question about what needed to happen in this breakup. It's right there.
yep, 100%.
And with that, like the opposite, there's a slow fade, right? The texts get a little bit shorter, the calls stop. You check in a little bit and then it like fades. You both kind of let it die and no one really says anything. It's kind of like ghosting in a sense, the friendship without really ghosting because it's like, okay, like, to be honest, this is the most common one I feel like that's happened for me. And I don't know if I associate that with me moving a couple of times. I think about when I left Hayes, my hometown, and left and moved to San Antonio and had my San Antonio friends, everything, I had a great friendship group there. And then I moved to Dallas. And then that connection between San Antonio and Dallas, again, I had friends there and that started to fade. And then there was nothing that happened. Like they didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. It's just you move, there's different seasons and it just kind of dwindles out. And that's just what it is. And now you just watch each other's stories and, until the end of time, I guess.
Till the end of time.
Like, I mean, but that's kind
Yeah,
of how it feels. Like, there's nothing, I mean, it's not like anything happened with these friends. It's just like, it's a fade. Like, we were
yeah.
friends in that period of time and now we're not, and that's okay. Like, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I think these ones hurt more personally, like because you don't get the closure. Especially okay, there's definitely been people that I hung out with and was friends with. I think back to college days, right? That I was friends with in
Sure.
college or even grad school days. And then when I moved, like you said, we fade. And then I kind of realized, oh, those were kind of like, they were more like life stage friends, I think of them as, right? Oh, those are the people
Sure.
that I would party with, or those are the people that we went through something together as a cohort in grad school. It was really stressful, and those were my people then. But with all of those, for me anyways, there were always a couple that stuck, and then I took with me on every stage. And I think when those ones later, like, oh, we went through all these different stages and then they fade. Oof. For me, that's the hardest where it's like, wait, we went through all of that and now now it's fading. Like, I don't know. That's something I think I've had to deal with
Hmm.
more like in like my later years of life since I've gone through a lot of those moves, like you said. And you're just like kept wondering, like, should I say something? Is it all in my head? Like, am I overthinking it? It's like so stressful.
No, I can understand that. I think I I think it just depends on the situation, like you mentioned,
Totally.
like something where it's like an intense, like, period of your life and then it fades. Yeah, absolutely. That hurts because it's like you were there for those moments and now it's gone. But for me, I don't know. I feel like those really, not, I know it sounds bad, but like, I don't know that those like really hurt my feelings. I think I was like in a place at that point where I realized those friends were just there for a season. They were for,
Yeah.
in there for my season of living in a specific place or something happening at that time. And it happens,
Yeah.
and that's okay,
Yeah.
But there's also the one-sided exit, right? Where it's time and you're blindsided, or the reverse, they ghost and you're left spiraling.
Yeah, this one's interesting too because it's like for me, anyways. I'm like, ooh, is it like because you don't know it? I don't feel like you always know if you're exiting. Do they realize or like you don't know if it's mutual or not? Actually, in my cases at least, I'm like, I'm clearly exiting this. Do they realize I'm exiting? Should I feel guilty for exiting? Guys, this is the real talk. Okay, I'm putting it all out here. Okay, but I'm like, do they know I'm exiting? I hope they do, and this is mutual, and I'm not hurting them by doing this. But like, I don't know. It's weird. You start spiraling.
Yeah, yeah, and then you're overthinking it. You're like,
Yeah,
wait, should I just like let them know, like, hey, I'm exiting, or should I just exit?
because
It's
then
just
you
it's
don't.
death.
Especially if you don't want the blowout, because you don't have animosity. There's not animosity. You're
Yeah,
just like, it's
and
weird. I
honest,
don't know.
yeah, and to be honest, this one-sided exit has happened for me just given like the political climate. I'm like, I don't need to associate myself with you, and I just leave. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that's it. I don't owe you an explanation. I don't owe you a
No.
conversation. You didn't do anything wrong to me, but like the way that you voted, it just doesn't make sense to have you in my life, and that's just what it is. So I don't overthink that because I'm like, I'm
No.
consciously, I feel rooted in that decision. I feel good about that decision. And I know that I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So I leave, and that's fine.
I think situations like that are just like so cut and dry. It's like, yes, done. It is what it is.
Hmm.
And then like I think in the best case scenario, it's like the mutual understanding moment, which is like the rare, okay, we're both grown ups, we're grown women, like we both just know, like, hey, this chapter's done, wishing you well, but like moving on to other things.
I've actually never experienced that ever. It has been all the other ones that we've just mentioned. I've never had the mutual, like, yeah, it's best that we're not friends anymore. I have never had that happen.
In the moving scenario. So, for example,
Okay.
like I had a friend that lived here in Colorado, and she was actually my personal trainer. And like then we started hanging
Mhm.
out, and then shortly after us starting to get closer, I found out she was moving, and then she moved away, and so we didn't text anymore, but like, we still like each other's stuff on social media. But and not that we were best friends, super close, but there was definitely a friendship. I'm happy for her; she's living her life, and I'm here living mine, and she's happy for me. But like, it's okay that we're not texting. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like, no matter the type, the feelings that come up, guilt, grief, confusion, anger, they're real and they're so valid.
Yes, and you can mourn a friendship even if it needed to end, and that doesn't make you weak. It's just human nature to have these dichotomous feelings of moving forward while also being perhaps sad about it.
Absolutely. Now, Jess, let's talk about the plot twist, okay? When they come back.
Yes, like the text a
Because they
year
always
later.
come back,
They
you know?
do. They do,
They
unless it's
always
the
come
big
back.
blowout. But like they come back and you get that text a year later and it's like, "Oh, I miss you." And the random comment on your story like nothing happened. It's like, "Well,
Like, where have you been the last whatever? I know this is just me because I figured this out. I know that there are people that this has happened in the past where they have come back around using burner accounts to creep on my stuff.
that's
As
weird."
girl, very weird. So I'm like, so you're now we're stalking me. All
Yeah,
you
now
gotta do
you're
is
a
just reach
secret
out.
hater. Now you're a hater. Now you're not just
Now
we're
you're a
not friends.
hater.
Now you're a hater.
Yeah, using a burner account, girl.
That's
If
weird.
I if you don't get that burner account off my account right now, I will find you. Anyway, hi
Pause. We have a
cutie.
guest. Bo decided to join us
Hi,
for two
Bo.
seconds. Okay, continue.
Okay, all that being said, it can bring up so many feelings: hope, confusion, anger, curiosity. Like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the thing to remember is that just because they come back doesn't mean you owe them re-entry in any capacity.
Girl, say that again for the people in the back. Say that again, girl.
Yes. Um, just because they come back doesn't mean you owe them re-entry.
Exactly. Okay. People can grow and people can also miss your access without missing you. And I think that's so important to remember because they had every opportunity to be your friend. You did the work, you tried to make it work, and however it ended, that's fine and it ended. But they don't get to re enter your life because they see you doing well or they see this or they see something that like makes them curious about like, ooh, like I wonder how she's doing now or whatever. No, they can see you from afar now. Like that's just what it is.
Especially if you're like doing cool stuff. Like if you're doing like
Exactly.
okay, this just
AKA
reminded me.
this podcast.
Yeah, literally. No, I had a girl who I'm pretty sure you know this person.
Uh-oh.
I knew from college and got pretty close, like senior year of undergrad, and then we moved away. So like no big deal, but like we didn't talk after that. Like didn't talk, and I don't remember exactly like I remember the feeling of like this person kind of dropped me, but like it is what it is. But I don't remember all the details. And then I was posting a lot about social media. This person lives in the area and they hit me up with like, oh my God, we should go to a class sometime. And I thought, okay, well, we're in different places in life. So like maybe, but I haven't talked to you in like literally years. So I kind of waited to respond. Honestly, I just got busy and forgot about it. And then I was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to these classes this weekend if you want to join. She never responded. And I was like, okay, yeah, nope, no re-entry. I gave you one little chance. Absolutely not. I'm Gucci. I'm fine.
Is it who I think it is? You said she lives in the area?
Yeah. I don't know if you can guess who it is because I don't know that we've ever talked about this person, but we will discuss.
We can discuss offline.
I don't know if she listens to the pod. If she does and she genuinely forgot, she can hit me up. But I don't know. I got weird energy vibes from it.
Yeah, I have a person in mind. I just don't know if it's the person you're talking about based on location. So we can discuss later.
We can discuss. But I think if you do try to reconnect like this situation, like asking yourself, do I feel safe here? Do I feel seen? Like, am I just trying to like rewind the path? If the energy feels off, then probably not. But like, I do also think it's okay that like people go through different stages in life, and like if you're able to reconnect, great. But like, don't rely on the reminiscent of the past for that reconnection.
Yeah, I completely agree. And don't fall for the relationship comparison trap. Friendship dynamics are just as layered, so you can forgive without reinviting. So, again, reassessing that friendship. And if you've done your audit and they somehow come back and you're like, okay, well, let me think about how I looked at this friendship prior to it. If it makes sense to like reconnect for whatever reason, fine. I support you, whatever. But if you're doing it just because you miss them and you feel like you can fix whatever it was, that's probably not a good reason. And you should strongly reconsider doing that.
Yep. Sometimes the growth is just realizing that you don't hate them anymore, or like you don't feel some negative way about them and how things ended, but you also don't actually need them back.
Yep, I 100% agree with that.
Okay, so let's talk about the after, because yes, there's pain, frustration, sometimes anger, but there's also peace and opportunity.
Mm-hmm. So ending a friendship that no longer fits makes space for deeper connections, more aligned friendships, and even more time for yourself. And I relate to this so much because I think about the friendships that have ended. I think about the people who decided to take themselves out, or I had to end it for whatever reason, just whatever the situation is. But I think about the friendships that I have now. I think about, the various friends I've made here in Dallas over the last, 5 or so plus years now that I've really cultivated these friendships. We're all aligned. I feel very safe talking to these people. And they know exactly who they are. They all listen to the podcast. So shout out to every single one of you. You know who you are. But yes, it really makes me happy that I've been able to kind of remove people who no longer served me and bring in people and cultivate those friendships that do serve me, and we support each other, we lift each other up, all of those things.
I love all your friends and I haven't even met them yet.
I know, they love you too. Girl, every single time. I had another friend who's actually going to Beyonce too. She was like, oh my gosh, like I would love to meet Jess. Like she just seems so cool. I'm like, she is. She is.
Wait.
And
I can't wait.
I was like, you will most likely meet her. So no, they love you too.
Aw, I love you guys. I can't wait to meet you guys. Yeah, I love that too. And I think that that's the thing that is like the thing to me that's the most motivating about moving through a friendship breakup and getting past that. Like, is this, should I, like, all that like overthinking that happens, is you actually do stop second guessing yourself. Like when you get past that, you stop over giving to people that you're not getting that same reciprocal energy back, and you start to realize how much energy you were pouring into a dynamic that just was not pouring back to you.
Agreed. And that energy too, it gets rerouted to people who do see you. I already mentioned this, who cheer you on, who don't get weird when you win. You need people who are in your corner, who are almost celebrating harder than you are when it comes to your wins and your successes and things, and also being there for you in those low moments. One of my friends, Brogan, she had mentioned in her class, look out for your front row people. And she's not talking front row like in a classroom, but your front row people, the people who are there no matter what, they're cheering you on, who are lifting you up, who are there by your side. And I'm like, that is such a good way to look at that.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I was like, yes.
Shout out Brogan. Also, like, not only does it go into these like other people who are like get you and see you, but also it could just go back into you as well. We talk about this a lot, but more solo dates, more stillness, more self-trust, more like you time that you get, that your energy isn't feeling drained. It's like actually being invested into yourself.
Absolutely. We've talked about this on the pod all the time about romanticizing your life and looking at ways to elevate your life and the glow up and leaning into your best self. Hot girl summer, healed girl summer, all of those things is so important. Again, one of the most underrated parts of friendship breakups is the glow up that comes after. So it doesn't have anything really to do with your looks, more about your entire energy and how it shifts.
100%. Hot and healed.
Hot and healed. We talked about it.
Yeah, I agree. You realize that you can just be your full self. You don't have to walk on eggshells, and I just think that's priceless.
I agree. And if you're in that weird, lonely middle part right now, hang on. You've got this. The right people will find you. But they need the real you, not the version that stays stuck out of obligation.
Let's lighten up with our weekly segment.
What's the ick? Y'all know the drill. Okay, we're going to share our icks. We're going to talk about them. We're going to break things down. Let's get into it. Jess, you kick us off.
Here we go. I'm getting ready.
Soapbox time. Let me mute.
Okay, my ick right now is hate training on the internet on people who do not deserve it. Okay? And my first gripe about this, I was going to say, is canceling people who don't deserve it. But I think it's actually different than canceling, because let's be honest, there are some people in this world who deserve to be canceled. I am not against cancel culture. Some people should be canceled, and we should do our work and go cancel them. Other people, however, who have done literally nothing problematic, they've done nothing racist, they've done nothing sexist, nothing misogynistic, nothing like bad in the world, and people latch onto that person because maybe they think that they're cringy, or they think that they aren't cool, or they think that, like, I don't know, that they're just like, ooh, I don't like that, like it's too like whatever. That gives me the ick so hard. And specifically, I personally am talking about the hate train on the internet right now for Benson Boone. Do you know who Benson Boone is?
The name sounds familiar, because I was going to ask you for an example, because I'm like, I don't know who this is about. So yes, please break this down.
Okay, so Benson Boone, he is an artist. He was like one of the nominations for Best New Artist this year. I think like it was like him, Sabrina, Doechii, I don't remember, there were some other people there, Chaperone, etc. So like he performed at that award show, and he like he dresses very like Freddie Mercury, Harry Styles vibe. I really like his music. His music is very like pop. He actually opened for Taylor Swift for some of his shows, and he's gotten really big. The number of videos I see people making hating on this man, you would have thought that he was out there advocating for genocide, which, let's be honest, in today's world, there are plenty of people advocating for genocide right now, and those people should be canceled. He is not one of those people, okay? And so I went on a deep dive because I like this man's music, and if people are getting canceled, I want to know, what did they do problematic? Should I like not enjoy this man's music? No. This man has done nothing problematic that I can find. I scoured the internet. People's main argument is he's not authentic. He dresses like this just for marketing purposes, which I'm like, okay, one, everybody dresses for marketing purposes. Okay, let's look at the entire Cowboy Carter aesthetic right now. It's a vibe, right? Let's look at Taylor Swift right now is wearing plaid for everything. That's a marketing tool. Like, this is what artists do. So yeah, his style is matching his current vibe. So like, Why is that weird? And they're saying he's inauthentic. Literally, this girl broke down her hate for this man with hundreds of thousands of likes, which is so crazy to me. I'm like, why is this happening? She's like, if you look at the background in his picture, he has nothing on the walls, but yet he wears these sparkly outfits. That can't be authentic. I'm like, this man is 22. Do you think that he is thinking about his interior design? Also, he grew up Mormon and then left the Mormon church. I don't know, maybe he's just now experimenting with this style, because guess what? If he wore this when he was in the Mormon church, he probably wouldn't be accepted. Just saying. So it's a fascinating concept to me, and I just feel like, yes, there are a lot of people in the world who should be canceled. I don't feel like we should be canceling people for this reason. And again, I'm like the last person who wants to stand up for a straight white man, but like it just is weird energy to me. It's very weird energy, and I don't like it. So that's my
There's a lot to unpack here. What I am not understanding is who started this, first of all. Why are you hating on somebody without any actual like
nothing.
Proof? Like there's nothing from what you're telling me. There's nothing that this man has done that is.
And trust me, if y'all find something on this man and he did something racist, did something sexist, I'll be the first one to say, all right, I'm sold. Let's cancel the man. But I literally cannot find anything. It's literally people just saying, I don't think he's authentic. He's too marketing. He's too focused on marketing. And I'm like, that's why we hate this man? I don't know. It's weird.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Because every other artist dresses for their marketing. Yeah. How do you think they got where they're at right now?
Like literally. I'm like, that's what you do. You drop an album, you have an aesthetic around the album, and like that's what you do. I'm so confused by it.
You know what? That actually is my ick too. There's several, because that's also icky. Because where do y'all get off on the internet, like making stuff up about people and just like parading this little hate train? It's crazy to me. I don't understand that.
It's not even like they're making anything up. Their genuine argument is he's not authentic. I watched another girl's video where she went off about, she was like, the thing for me was when he performed at whatever that award show was, it came right after Doechii, and she had this beautiful performance, and it came right after Chappell Roan, who had this like incredible queer anthem, which like agree, all those performances were incredible. And she's like, and then this mediocre man goes and does a backflip on stage. And I was like, why are you like, okay, like that, they're different. Like you don't have to like love the one to hate the one to love the others. And also, if you followed, not that I'm not like a super fan of this man, but I do like his music. But when he first started getting big, that was like how his first song got big, was like he would do these backflips, and then like people were like making stitches on TikTok to it, and it was like kind of like this funny thing that he had with his fans when it first happened. So like, yeah, the man does a backflip. Like, who gives a shit? I don't know. It's weird.
It sounds like people just want to hate a man right now, and like.
And I'm all for hating a man. Again, I'm all for hating a man.
I get it, because it's hard for me to be like sit here and defend a man, because what? But like if you're gonna do that, like it needs to be valid. I don't know. Yeah. Like I just feel like this doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm like,
but I understand the concept of like hating a man, but like I don't understand the concept of like things that like don't make sense about him.
I'm literally like, you people on the internet are gonna make me really stand up for a straight white man right now. Like that's what you're gonna make me do. I don't want to do that. But y'all are, yeah.
They need to come with the facts, y'all. If there is something on this man that we are missing,
yes, tell me.
Send it to us right now, because we'll turn around so quick and be like, yep, hate train. But like,
I was literally Googling what are the controversies about this man. And it was all literally just like authentic. They don't think he's authentic. He leans too much into his They think he's like chuggy. Like it was like, and I'm like, that's like, just because you don't like it, like that's fine, but don't make hate videos about it. That's weird.
So they find him cringy.
Yes, they find him cringy. That's my ick. Now tell me your ick.
Okay. Well, currently, kind of on theme of what we've talked about, but friends, quote unquote, that are secret haters. Haters, okay? I'm talking about the friends who you be posting, you're talking about something, and they're silent. They go ghost. And you're like, where are you? And they're just in the background creeping, being all just, they're just,
you can feel it
for you. They're not hyping you up the way that they should be. Okay. But worse, which at this point, they can't even be your friends. They're talking shit about you. Right. They're like, oh, see that she did this, or did you see that she did that? She's posting her little TikToks, or she's doing her little podcast. I have people who are like this, by the way. I know who you are. Trust me. I found you. And that's icky to me. Like, you have to find something better to do. I encourage you to go outside and touch grass, because Hating on people for doing something that's fun, entertaining, exciting. I mean, you gotta be a little bit better than that. So that's my egg.
It's weird energy.
It's
It is
so
weird
weird.
energy.
It is weird because you have nothing better to do than to talk shit about people you that are enjoying their life and having fun and doing things that like bring them joy. Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
way. There's no way.
It's like they're threatened by anything that, I mean, if we're being honest, haters in general, not just like secret haters, haters in general, they're threatened by either one, something that's different from them, two, something they could never do, or three, which is related to that, something that they personally are insecure about. At the end of the day, it comes down to those three things.
Yeah, they're all projecting and they're just insecure about things in their life and they want to hate on somebody else for doing something that they wish they could do. You're exactly right. And honestly, I'm not gonna let it concern me. I just kind of
No.
laugh it off and be like, you have to find something better to do with your life.
So do you think that secret haters know that that we know when they're being a secret hater?
100%, because I know they still watch the podcast.
They're like, "Ooh, made the episode."
Yeah. So thanks for the engagement, weirdo. Like, it's fine.
Honestly.
Anyway, close on that note. Thanks for sipping with us today, friends. But before we head out, make sure you're following us on all the things: Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Sisterhood Tea Party.
Yes, we are creating more content around healing, growing up, making space for the friendships that actually pour into you.
And if you felt seen in this episode, share it with someone who might need to hear it too.
Okay, last drop of tea for the day. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep a friendship warm. If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive.
I know that's right. That is the tea, y'all. See you next week.